Hey, it's your boy Okina here, slightly injured by the way. Today we're going to be all going over something a little bit new. I'm going to be working on this car right here. It's a 1995 Miata MX-5. The other day when it was raining super hard, I noticed some leaking down in the trunk down below. Where could the water be coming from? I covered up the holes that the previous owner made. I still got leaks in the car, and I thought the only other thing that it could possibly be is this rack right here. I was gonna throw it away, but I figured it looked pretty nice. So I'm making a video to go ahead and restore it and have a little take on it. I have already removed the screws from all the racks right here, but just to go ahead and show you what you want to go ahead and do, just lift this flap right here and you'll get your screws that are in here. Most likely they're going to be a Phillips head, but this previous owner had all different types of screws. That's how I know it was probably aftermarket. The sides of the rack also had a type of foil-like layer on top. I went ahead and removed that. That's junk. Once all the screws are removed, you can go ahead and remove your whole rack. And he did not do a great job at sealing up these holes. Once we get them all off, let's go ahead and take them inside, give them a good rinse, and start cleaning them up. We got the parts inside now. What we're going to go and do is we're going to use a specialized bit to go ahead and take off the screw on the bottom of this bracket so we can go and sand off any adhesive we have on the top here, so we can go ahead and paint that. We got these brackets taken off, sanded down with maybe an 800 grit sandpaper to go ahead and take off that adhesive. I'll let you know if it's a different type of sandpaper. My mistake, we're going to be using a 320 sandpaper to go ahead and get this adhesive off, but we all make mistakes, and that's how I was born. I finished sanding down the brackets. What we're going to go ahead and do now is take them to the sink and give them a good rinse. After that, we're going to spray them with primer and sand that down with a higher grit. While we let those little brackets dry, we're going to go ahead and give these a good rinse as well. As you can see, they're pretty dirty after all the years they spent on the trunk. I'm going to go and soak them in some water for about 30 minutes with some soap, and then give them a good scrub. We got these brackets cleaned, and what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go and spray them with primer. We went ahead and let the brackets dry. Now hit it with a 350 or 320 sandpaper, so we can go and get off the orange peel that exists on the bottom and on the top of the bracket. We just finished sanding down the primer on these brackets right here. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is take them outside and spray them down with a semi-gloss black paint. While we wait for those brackets to dry, we're going to be using 1000 and 2000 grit sandpaper to go ahead and try to polish up this bar. We're going to be using some water, so it'll be less resistance on there. We just finished sanding down with the 1000 grit. We're now going to use the 2000 grit. Just make sure you go ahead and polish up your pole. I'm not talking about in the bedroom either. Sanding with the 2000 grit sandpaper really finished this one off, but if you're anal like me and my mom, wink wink, you're going to go ahead and want to use a polishing compound. This will go ahead and really get the mirror-like finish out of the product. We're going to use a sock or a cut-up sock, or maybe a little towel if you have that at home. You rub it again in the polishing compound, apply it to the surface, rub each area for about a minute each. We finished polishing the metal rod. As you can see, it has a very mirror-like finish, and we don't see any deep scratches like we did before, or dark spots where micro scratches were. What we're going to go and do now is get the black pieces that came onto the trimming, or I guess you can call them the trimming, and hit them with the trim paint. You don't want to use black paint because that will not flex. We got the trim out here and we're gonna hit it with Doopy Color trim and bumper paint. Like I said, you don't want to use black paint because it won't flex to your trim. But this is specially made for trim, so this will work perfectly. We're gonna go ahead and wait for the brackets to finish drying, as well as the trim. We're gonna go and check back up on this tomorrow, so we can go ahead and put the rack back together. It's a different day, and we just let these finish drying over, I would say about 3 days. Now, as you can see, the paint on here is totally hard. I can scratch it, and it leaves no indentions on the actual item. We're coming to the end of the project. As you can see here, my whole table's kind of dirty. I've been doing a lot of body work on that Miata you saw outside. So we're not gonna exactly put the whole bracket back on, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it together, place it on the trunk, and see the difference. If you remember these pieces right here, I went ahead and gave them a good cleaning, and I polished them up just like I did with the cross support bar for the luggage rack. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of work on this car right here. Did a lot of body work on the trunk here because the previous owner drilled about 13 holes into the trunk. You can hardly tell now. Also did some body work on the side, and I'm working on the bumper right now. I'm just gonna lay these pieces onto the trunk and show you how it looks. We'll be installing these at a later time. This is just a rough layout, but as you can see, it's a deeper black and a shinier silver. We also got our black handles right here, semi-glossed. I'm excited to be installing this at a later time, or there might be a possibility that I might not install it and just do a duck wing at the back. As you can see here, I had a huge dent on the side of my car. I went ahead and pulled the metal and bodyworked it a little. I know I should have been recording the whole time, but that's what I'm going to start doing now. Stay tuned for future videos. If you like this one, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And turn on that notification button. It really does help me get videos up in the queue. For those who just watched this video for the car, I also do restoration controller videos, creepypastas, top 5 countdowns, and I think that's pretty much it. Oh wait, I also do Amazon and eBay reviews. Go ahead and check all those out on my channel. Thanks again. It's your boy Okina. Always building. See you on the next episode.